So, welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and guest. Today I'm joined by Byron from the band. I want to say it's pronounced Mnrva.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, because there are fewer vowels. So it's just MNRVA. But it was interesting because as I was reading about, where you're located, where you're recorded, it seems like I know a lot of the people who were involved. Um, like I know Jay is in Brandy and the Butcher
Yeah.
at the Jam Room where you guys recorded the album, and then you were label mates with friends of mine on Grave Next Door. We're
Oh, yeah.
also on Black Dumba.
Yep.
So it's a small world.
Doom's kind of a small world. Yeah. It's a nice network. We've been super happy. Everybody's been like really cool, the bands we played with, and everybody's super supportive of each other and sort of the scene in general. So it's been great for us.
Good, good. Yeah. Well, for those of you interested, the album is called Hollow. It'll be released on May 20th. Recorded in South Carolina on Black Dumba Records. One thing I really enjoyed was, I guess you described it as doom metal with a sludgy vibe and fuzzy tone. And I was trying to think if there was a more accurate description of that. I don't think there is.
Well, thanks. We've thought about that for a little bit because when we first started, we're trying to figure out what are we going to do, what are we going to be, how are we going to develop our sound. We knew we wanted to be in the bigger kind of doom, stoner, sludge, psych spectrum, but what little slice out of that is going to be your sound? It's hard to figure out.
It is.
And once we recorded and sort of listened to the recording, I was like, man, it's like doom fuzz. That's what we do. It's doom metal, but it's fuzzy and stonery. So we came up with doom fuzz, and then the little description to describe what doom fuzz is.
Well, yeah, it's really accurate. I mean, as I was listening to, I was fortunate enough to listen to the album, and as I was listening to it, I kept thinking, okay, now it's airing on the sludgier side, but then all of a sudden it'll like correct itself and go back to more of a traditional doom sound. So it was really cool. But if you're into any of that stuff, I highly recommend pre-ordering this album, picking it up when it drops on the 20th. I'm always, Heather and I are huge fans of Doom. So I'm always on the lookout for like really good contemporary Doom bands. So having not that I discovered you guys, but having heard of you, it's like great to know that you're out there with an album coming out next month. And yeah, if you're into any aspect of Doom, but particularly the sludgy vibe with a fuzzy tone, then this is for you guys. My personally now, I as a fan, I can be subjective. So my favorite track on the new album was Third Eye.
Oh, cool.
Which yeah, as I was listening to it, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna probably put this one on the rotation. But the whole album's great. And I think you guys have found a really good sound and tone.
Yeah, Third Eye, the main riff in that was written by our bass player, Kevin Jennings. And he and I both share singing too. So he wrote the riff and the main lyrics for that one. And, we built it from there. And it's more on sort of the stoner side. It's probably our most sort of stoner, laid back kind of stoner vibes.
Gotcha.
Song.
Yeah. Well, it's the other thing that's really cool is I didn't realize how many great bands there are in the Columbia area, like where you guys are. There, it's a really vibrant scene.
There's a lot of bands here. Columbia doesn't get a lot of recognition, but there's probably 800,000 to 900,000 people in the larger area, so it's a pretty big area. And there's been a scene here for a good 30 years.
Yeah, I just wasn't aware of it, but within the last few years, because the landscape has shifted to be more universal now. It's easier to find the local scenes just online.
Yeah.
and I've discovered a cut like Aura Layer. I
Yeah,
found them.
they're in Greenville, which is
Yeah, yeah. But
there's a lot of bands in South Carolina. Witch Pit, I just saw their
right.
album release show, and they're fantastic. Space Coke is from South Carolina. They now
Yeah,
sort of
I just
relocated
spoke
to
to
Savannah.
Reno a couple months ago. Yeah, so it's a small, you like you said, the doom scene is a small scene, but it's really cool to know that there are these sort of local pockets of action, that we can all access now because of the internet. So yeah, so the new album Hollow comes out May 20th. Um, I would imagine right now you're sort of just pushing the album, but do you have are there touring plans? Are you going to be playing live?
Yeah, we just got back from a run of shows out to Texas, and we played the Gravitoid Heavy Music Festival with about 12 other bands. It was kind of a pre-South by Southwest showcase kind of thing, and that was fantastic. A ton of killer bands on that. Thunder Horse, Temptress, Doomstress, Howling Giant, Horse Burner. I mean, there's just like a bunch of killer bands on that show, and that was really great. And we'll have we're doing a record store day show here in a couple of weeks here in Columbia, and then we'll be doing our album release show probably in June, a little bit after the record comes out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I will have to see you guys if you're touring the East Coast at some point, which I'm sure you will. But yeah, don't sleep on Mnrva if you're a fan of Doom, if you're a fan of good music, or sludge or stoner or any of the combinations that we've mentioned, you're gonna want to get this album. So be sure to do that. Pre-order it if you can. I would imagine you guys are probably busy now with the album coming out. I mean,
we just had our video release this week, so I'm would love it if people would check out the video. It's been posted on Black Doomba Records YouTube channel.
Right. I actually just caught that. It's for Hollow, the track Hollow, right? Okay, yeah. So go check out Hollow, the video. That's also a song that you can listen to on Bandcamp. It's the single from the album. So be sure to do that. I mean, really, I always am searching for new contemporary bands that can sort of take the place as some of the other older bands stop making music, stop playing, stop touring. And it's great to know that I can slide Mnrva in there and they'll carry the torch. So
yeah, I appreciate it, man. We just got out there and play some old school Doom,
Yeah, no, I wish it wasn't as rare to find bands that just sort of did it well. Like, we got the fundamentals down and we do it well. So when I do hear something like that, I like, the needle sort of scratches the record. It's like, wait a second, yeah. And I have been much more cognizant of the Columbia or the Greenville scene. So now I'm going to keep going back and finding new bands, but, so Hollow comes out May 20th. It's good to know you guys are going to be playing gigs to support that.
Should be playing more gigs this summer for sure.
Good. Yeah. So and people can find you. I know you have a social media presence on all the major sites, but if people just look up Mnrva, Mnrva, then
we have a link tree. So you can just go linktree/MNRVA and get a link to the video, get a link to the pre-order to the album, and then a list of the socials. Yeah,
no, easy to find. It's a great album. I know I can't say that enough. I really enjoyed. There are times where I get asked, "Hey, will you listen to this and put it on the show?" And it's not really the type of music that I enjoy, but I'm happy to do it. So when it's also music that I enjoy listening to, it's like a win-win. So it's always great when that happens. I would imagine, I hope obviously this album is coming out in a couple weeks, but I hope you're also working on, future stuff, new material.
Yeah, we already have all the songs written for the next record. We spent a lot of time during the pandemic just getting together and writing and getting new songs. So we're hoping to record those as soon as we can, maybe in the fall, something like that.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of options right now, a lot of things happening. This album's coming out in a couple weeks. You got some shows lined up. You'll probably tour this summer. A new album hopefully will be recorded in the fall. But that's great. As a fan, that's wonderful to hear. So I wish you guys all the best luck. And for those of you out there watching, go to Linktree, check out what Mnrva's got going on, pre-order the album. You won't regret it. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Hey, I really appreciate being on the show.
Cool. Yeah, have a good one.
All right.